I'm Wolfman Sam here with my buddy Johnny Buff Guns,
Well,
and we are Creatures of the
Creatures of
Night.
the Night.
Today we'll be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, both the first one and second one. Maybe we'll touch
Yes.
upon the third one.
How far did you go with the series? Because you saw.
I went to 3. That's about as far as I got.
All right, because I only saw the
after
first
3, I clocked out.
Gotcha.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. Yeah, definitely today, because this year marks the 40th anniversary of Silent Night, Deadly Night, when the controversial of ruining Santa Claus's image at the time, back in 1984.
Yeah, and the first one is very, very dark. I mean,
oh, it
if
is.
you guys have not seen it, go see at least the first 2.
Yeah.
And come back, of course. But if you guys have seen it, we're going to be spoiling it. Here's the spoiling section right here. Just sound the alarm. It's a spoiler section.
Like Deadpool said, spoiler alert.
Yes, spoiler alert. So the first one is about this guy, Billy, who grows up in this like super strict Catholic kind of upbringing.
Oh yeah.
And his parents are murdered, and he's sort of taken into this orphanage.
Yeah.
And this Mother Superior kind of teaches him punishment and all this very strict upbringing.
Oh yeah.
And things spiral from there. I mean, he sees a couple having sex, and he's not sure how to react. And this kid couldn't have been more bred for being a psychopath if no matter how hard you tried. He ends up growing up to just play the thing he hates the most, the thing that murdered his parents, which was a psychopath in a Santa suit. So the logical thing would to be take the kid with mental issues about Santa Claus and make him be the mole Santa.
Right.
That makes sense, right?
Yes.
Nothing bad is going to go wrong here. And from there, he just goes on a killing spree. And I just want to talk about the vibe of the first one. It just has this. It reminds me of the original Black Christmas, and that it's so bleak and so chilling that there are just genuine scenes that just make me feel uncomfortable. And I'm not a squeamish person by any means.
Right.
I'm not a squeamish person by any means, but it's just the vibe and just the chilling nature of the first Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Right.
But John, you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a movie that when it came out, it wasn't like a big hit at the time because of, people didn't like the idea of a killer Santa Claus, like ruining Santa Claus's image. And I think now in recent years, the reason why it's aged well, because people like the psychology aspect of the character Billy, about how, he was misunderstood, and that if he was, because of that traumatic experience of what he saw as a kid, is why, he's, when he sees Santa Claus, he, PTSD, and he gets, scared and emotional, and also he basically loses control and a chemical imbalance of just still thinking back to that bad moment when he was a kid, what he saw as a kid.
Well, that's one of the things that when I first saw it, kind of brought me to the dance, and I think what a lot of people like about it is just the psychology of it.
Yeah.
And that it is, yes, the slasher film, but you can kind of sort of sympathize with the slasher villain to a degree.
To a degree, yeah. It's funny. The guy's name is. What's funny is the guy's name is Billy. Just think about it. That was the killer's name in Black Christmas.
Yeah, it was kind of a tribute to Black Christmas. I think I got a lot of Black Christmas vibes. And just to clarify, we are talking about the original '70s Black Christmas.
Yes,
that's the Black Christmas we're referring to.
The two remakes don't exist.
We're not referring to any kind of remake. We're referring to the original.
Wolfman Sam, what remake?
Yes, what remake?
What hump?
There's no remake here.
And and also how Billy, growing, just because of what he saw, he, like you said, he grew up in a Catholic orphanage that, anytime we saw Santa Claus, it really traumatized, and they didn't understand about
Yeah, and that's one
PTSD,
of
and
the
they didn't
things they
have resources for mental health at that time.
yeah, that's one of the things they really, really build on in the first one is just the trauma that he is going through.
Yeah,
And like I
yeah,
said, you can sympathize with the character to a point, but then he goes off the rails and completely
yeah.
and
Like when you
totally.
see, when you see him, he's all grown up. He gets a job at a toy store thanks to his sister Margaret. And at first it's going okay, but when Christmas time, that's where he loses his cool and insanity.
Well, that's what I said before,
Right,
jokingly.
right.
I said, what? Who better than to make the mall Santa than the kid who grew up with issues uh, with Santa Claus, who
Yeah,
basically to him Santa Claus murdered his family. Makes
right.
perfect sense.
Right, right. And like I said, with this not being a success, it's basically the kind of film that did not do well when it came out, but it had a cult following through blockbusters, video stores, because people found it on the horror section, like, oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night, maybe I'll check this out for curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and some people watch it at Christmas, and a rare occasion I've watched it at Christmas, and
Yeah,
like you
I
said, it's
do.
it's a good junk food
That's
movie.
one of the movies that and Black Christmas. It's one of the untraditional Christmas movies.
Yeah, that's like how
Mm.
people watch Die Hard at Christmas. Why not Christmas horror movies
Yep.
then?
Yeah, you'd watch that along with Batman Returns and
Yes, yes. Yeah, which I want to talk about later in this podcast, but that'll be later. But for now, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I also remember the character Mother Superior. Oh, I hated this character.
well, yeah, that's the sign of a good actress. But yeah, she was probably one of the most hated
Oh,
characters.
she was, and
And
I
like I
was
said, it
like,
kind
I'm
of
like, kill her,
drives.
kill her.
Yeah, it kind of drives that home of like you're sympathizing with Billy
Yes.
to a degree until he just starts killing everybody.
Right, right. I
So
I met the guy who played Billy, but I don't have a photo with him. But very nice guy and friendly to meet and talk to. He told me how he never would have imagined all these years later that the film would have a cult following and how people appreciate the film more now than it did when it first came. Because he thought that when he played the part of the killer Santa Claus, he thought, well, that's it, I'm done. That was
yeah,
my 5 minutes
this
of
is my
acting.
swan song. Well, that goes down to like in the '80s, kind of horror movies were kind of sort of still frowned upon. It
Yeah,
wasn't until I'd say maybe like the mid to late '80s, like horror movies kind of gained cult following. But I don't know. That's debatable. Like
yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about it
I had
before. The '80s was the era of Freddy and Jason
flashers. Yeah.
and all these slasher movies. So that can kind of be contradictory depending on how you look at it.
Right. I I have the movie on Blu-ray, and it has behind the scene footage, interviews with the writer, the director, and the actor played Billy. He said when he got when he was offered the part just randomly, he said at the time his then girlfriend, they're at a restaurant eating dinner, and some guy the guy who wrote or produced it came up to say, "Are you an actor?" He said, "No." He goes, "Well, here's my card in case we may
Yeah.
use this."
Yeah, well, that's
And
how it starts. A lot of famous actors actually start in horror films.
bro, but
You know?
this guy was a very maybe did this movie, a few other things, then he basically became had a different career after acting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. A lot of times it's how it goes.
yeah. Also, the one character I did like was Sister Margaret. She was basically like a mother figure to Billy because she understood his trauma. She was basically the woman who had a lot the sense and the knowledge of
Right.
understanding
She was the
Billy's pain.
sympathetic
Oh,
character.
she was. She was.
She was sort of the guiding light for Billy, or at least
Yes.
she tried. She
She
tried.
does.
She
She
really
does.
did
She
try.
did. She really did. I give her credit. She did try, but it's really not her fault. The problem is they did not treat this boy.
No, they did not treat this boy, and he just had just the worst amount of circumstances you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Any sort of trauma villain,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Right. What was your favorite kill of the movie?
I always liked the
Right.
bow and arrow kill. I thought that was cool. Um, the the scene where he just randomly goes into somebody's house while a couple is having sex and
Yes.
literally hangs this poor woman on antlers or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, antlers. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Once he
mean, we'll
stopped
get
this.
to the second one, and I think the second one probably has the most comedic kills.
Right. Because
But the second one, unlike the first one, the second one is pure campy, pure cheesiness, pure
right,
comedy. Not really taking that,
right.
seriously.
For me, my favorite kill is between when he saved the well for a 5 second anti-hero where he saved the woman almost being raped by one of the employees and hangs him up like with the Christmas lights and
Right.
yeah, and she also hit like you said the ant the one where he puts the antler one of the antlers the reindeer
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah
for sure.
or when those guys are going sleigh ride and he chops the guy's head off.
I mean, it almost feels like almost a video game at this point. Where I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they haven't really licensed Silent Night, Deadly Night, especially considering there's stuff like Dead by Daylight and the
right.
Friday the 13th video game. I'm surprised they haven't really licensed that out to kind of give a first person or a third person view where you're Billy and you
I
go
don't
on a
know.
killing spree.
Right.
I think that's something they should do.
When,
They could
when
even put it out on Christmas.
when I met the guy, I told him how I almost turned it off when I thought, oh no, they didn't. That I thought he was going to kill this little innocent girl who didn't do anything wrong. But and he even said that he did not want to do that. That wasn't the original script. But instead, he like when she says, "I've been a good girl all year," gives her a little Christmas present, some knife, whatever they call that
Right,
thing.
right, right,
He said
exactly.
that was his like redeeming redemption moment where he did something nice for once.
Somewhat,
Somewhat,
somewhat.
yeah. I know it's kind of a weird way though. I will admit that.
Yeah, I mean, but like we've talked about with Jason, there's a certain degree like Jason doesn't really kill kids and stuff like that, and this is
Right.
sort of similar.
And yes, I know it's happened in horror movies where a kid died, but I guess I just didn't want to see that in a horror Christmas movie.
Yeah, there are certain there are certain degrees,
Yeah.
with horror films that even I in our old age, you just like I
We
get
have our limits.
I get not wanting to I get you have a villain and I like the idea of the villain not having any moral codes and being able to go wherever he wants morally. But
Right.
I don't know. I think we get more sensitive as we get older, if that makes
True,
sense.
true. Well, especially how, yeah, I admit I don't have children of my own, but I have my niece and my nephew who I adore a lot, and I do anything for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this on the podcast. Prior to Silent Night Deadly Night, there was Christmas Evil from 1980, another Christmas killer Santa Claus horror movie. I'm not sure why this movie is not boycotted and protested compared to Silent Night Deadly Night. You can debate that maybe this movie did not have a good marketing, no one knew about Christmas Evil, who knows?
But
Alright, I guess we could move on to Silent Night Deadly Night's Garbage Day!
yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, the meme that would not die, basically. Well, I say that. I say that. I mean, you and I we're on total opposites of the fence with this movie.
Yeah,
It is pure comedy. It is
it
about
is.
Billy's brother coming back for revenge. And like I said, spoilers. Go watch the movie. Go have a good time. And in terms of the vibe, it is pure slap. Like I would say that this is pure slapstick comedy.
Yes.
Like it does a 180. Now, I don't know if it was down to the budget, and we discussed this before we started. I don't know if this was down to the budget, but the first hour literally is a narration of the first by the brother, and you get the majority of the first movie. It's almost like a double feature.
Yeah.
I never understood why they did that, but I think it has something to do with the budget. Now, after watching basically the first movie, because the brother is in an asylum, and I can't get over the hamtastic acting. The acting here is just full on like hamtastic, full on cartoon, Judge Doom, or like slat. Like if the Mask was more like the comic and was a slasher villain. That's Ricky basically. He's so over the top. He leaped over 3 tops and made his own top. That's how over the top he is. Right. When we go into his childhood, he's the only slasher film that has a girlfriend for a bit.
That's true.
And things go well, they have a good relationship and all that stuff. But we realize that much like his brother Billy, Ricky is just as psychotic and kills. I'm trying to remember, like a bully of the girlfriends, like an ex.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, it was like a
it's been a while. But he kills him. Recently. He kills him, and one of my favorite scenes in cinema, her reaction to his death is full on cartoon. It's like she does the gulp kind of thing, like gulp, and she gets strangled and stuff, and it's pure cartoony stuff.
It was.
And literally Ricky at one point goes full Grand Theft Auto mode and goes out into the streets, into the suburban neighborhood with a pistol. I don't know what model it is. I'm not really good with guns in terms of naming them. But he goes out with like a pistol or a handgun, and he starts full on Grand Theft Auto mode, shooting cars. They're blowing up, right? A guy is taking out the this is what the famous garbage day. Guy is taking out the trash and says something to his wife like, "Yeah, I'll teach you a new one." Blah blah blah. And Ricky looks at the guy and goes, "Garbage day!" Like oh, you're doing garbage day. Shoots him. He goes flying back like a cartoon. It's full on cartoon, and I love it. I know you hated it, and that's fine. But I love just how batshit this movie is in comparison to the original. The original was like serious, cold, and calculating. This is full on Saturday morning splatter. This is like Looney Tunes with gore. It's Looney Tunes with gore. The kills in this. He kills a man with an umbrella. He kills a man by shooting him in the street. He blows up a car, and just when you think it hasn't, been more cartoony enough, right? The reason why he quote unquote is in the asylum is he tried to kill himself, but there was no bullets left, and I love his reaction. No more bullets, like full on cartoony mode, right? And that's the point where he quote unquote escapes and looks for Mother Superior, which he finds Mother Superior. She had a stroke. She, all her side of her face is all messed up. Yeah, she looked like she had And this is where we get full blown cartoony Ricky also, where he's swinging the axe and he's doing like a shining thing. Yeah. Where he's destroying the door and he's going, "Oh, there you are!" And like full on cartoon. He's like, "I have a present for you!" Like just full on Looney Tunes psychopath. And even his death is like, "I have you now." He gets shot and blah blah blah.
Right. Well, compared to Bill, he killed Mother Superior. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's a for me, I enjoy it for what it is.
Right.
Is it a good follow-up to the original? No, I really think it should have just been one. But I think it's a fun time. If you're looking for something that's completely just out of its mind, much like its protagonist,
right,
and it's totally cheesy, it's totally comedic, check out 2.
Right.
My recommendation, though, if you're familiar with 1, and you're going into 2 expecting like straight into the sequel, at least skip the first half, because the first half is literally just the narration by Ricky, and you get the majority of the first movie, so it's sort of like a double feature with narration.
Yeah. Well, as much as I did like, the idea, okay, we're focusing on his brother, but the first half, it's like the flashbacks. I could have just popped in the first movie and watched that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like, I don't know if it was down to the budget or they wanted to do this. I have a feeling, every time I watch it, I have a feeling it was down to budget. I have a feeling
Probably.
that they were short on budget. They were like, okay, we have in reality in IRL. They were like, okay, we have license for this room. We'll do the shrink scenes in the room, and we
Right.
have the footage for the first movie. So why don't we do this narration thing? And there you go. We have the first hour or
Right.
the first half.
Right.
So that's what I've always felt about the beginning of the second one. Other
But
than
I
that, I enjoyed it.
But I
I
agree. Very, very campy and cartoony, very over the top. Especially, like I said before, I saw this movie. Everyone knows the garbage
Yeah,
day.
it's been if you guys don't know about it, it's been memed to absolute
Yes,
heck. The garbage
yes,
day thing has been memed to heck. So even people that maybe aren't familiar with Silent Night, Deadly Night, maybe know about the second one, the garbage day. Um, we're not sure.
yeah, yeah. And also, like being at the asylum, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I've seen this done better, where the psycho killer
Yeah,
talks.
obviously it's been done better, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
like
There's just something very just. You can tell the actor who played Ricky is just having a absolute ball playing that
yes,
character. Like he's going full cartoony Looney Tunes with an axe,
right,
and just with his eyebrows going everywhere, every which
right.
way.
His eyebrow.
Even if you guys want to watch it ironically, just for like a bad so bad it's good kind of film,
Right.
it could be good for that too.
Right.
But
Well,
I
I don't think I will
unironically
be.
love it. I think it's just a good campy ride.
Right. I don't think I will be rewatching it anytime soon in the near future. But that's just me. I'll definitely go back to the first one. Well, the first one, no masterpiece. At least it had some solidness to it to a degree.
Yeah, it was it was consistent. It
Yeah.
was kind of consistent.
Yeah. I guess I can
Um,
see why people enjoy it for the campiness of the second one, where it's not supposed to be serious, meant to be
oh yeah,
taken
the
like
difference the
over the top.
difference is night and day. Like if you're going in the second one looking for more of the first one, you'll get the first one, but you'll get the first one
Yeah.
in a rerun.
Right.
And then you'll get campy galore cheese fondue
Yeah.
type movie.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the first movie, believe it or not, Sam Raimi was offered to direct Silent Night, Deadly Night.
I could see that.
I
I could
could,
definitely see that.
but
It would
who
have
knows?
been around the same time as Evil
Evil
Dead.
Dead, yeah, but what the only question is, would this have ruined his reputation, or would he still have made Evil Dead and other things that came after
What
that?
could have been?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could have seen Sam Raimi directing the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
especially he was in
You
indie
want to
horror at that
touch
time.
upon? Have you seen the third one?
I
The third.
haven't, so you go.
Okay.
I'll let you
Okay.
take
So
over
we'll
that
we'll
one.
skip that. There's not really much. There's not really much you need to know about
Right.
the
I
third one.
think, but
Maybe we'll.
although I do know that Mickey Rooney was in it. What's funny is he protested the first movie, and yet he was in a later sequel. I guess he really needed the paycheck that badly.
Yeah, the fourth one I know nothing about anyway. So
Right,
we'll talk about
right. I did
we'll
see
just
the
leave it at the
remake.
first two because there's not really much you need to know about the third one. Maybe
Right,
some other time we'll talk about the third and fourth one.
right. I did see the 2012 remake. It was not great. It was not that bad. I mean, it wasn't like one of the greatest remakes, but it was like okay, they at least tried. Where they basically they really
I
they
have to
changed it
catch
up.
it. I have to catch it myself. I haven't I
Yeah, it has a
haven't.
good all-star cast. It's got Malcolm McDowell was in it, and Donald Logue, Jamie King, and
Nice. Okay,
good
so
all-star cast of character actors, and
it's got a very interesting cast.
yeah, it does.
Nice.
But here's sort of like base. I mean, this is a big spoiler right here, but it's basically there's no. It's like a Halloween vibe. There's no background to kill. Why this guy is dressed as Santa Claus going around.
Right, so they changed it up a
Yeah,
little.
I'm like, okay,
Okay,
that's
so
not bad. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. Good
all
change
right,
up
so
there.
that might be definitely a watch
And here's
for
and
Christmas.
this is gonna be a little bit of a naughty joke right again. This is also not a big spoiler. When the couple are trying to have sex, she goes, "Santa Claus is coming to town." Yeah,
Yeah, you know the writer had a ball with that one.
Yes, of course.
This is so good. Oh my god,
When I saw
I'm
that, I
the
just couldn't
greatest
stop
writer
laughing.
ever.
Yeah, I just couldn't stop laughing at that joke. I'm like, oh my, you'll never hear
Still not one of the one. Still not the raunchiest line I've ever heard
no,
in a
but
movie. But you could tell the writer was like, "This is gonna be fun."
yeah. The remake, The Silent Night Daily, not great, but solid, decent, okay, just okay. They tried. I give them credit. They did try.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else did you want to talk about? Actually,
All right, so about be honest with every. All right, all right. Do you watch like Die Hard, Batman Returns at Christmas, even though they're not really Christmas, but they take place at Christmas?
the non-traditional Christmas movies, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Batman Returns for me.
Same.
I'm not the biggest diehard on Christmas.
Okay.
That's more my dad's thing. My dad
All right, fair
loves to
enough.
do that.
I do like Die Hard, but not at Christmas. I watch it in the summertime because it's a action movie, summer
Yeah,
blockbuster.
yeah, and you know, I feel like people now mainstream have kind of been like Die Hard's a Christmas movie. And I'm like, okay, yeah,
Right.
no, I see it.
Yeah. I
Lethal
think
Weapon also as well.
yes, that too. No, I'll admit there have been some rare occasions where I watched Batman Returns at Christmas or even Die Hard or Black. You know, like if I wanted to spice it up a little bit and change it
Yeah,
up.
Black Christmas. The original Black
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah,
is kind of a
like
tradition
that
for me.
For Batman Returns, I watch it when at Christmas if it's the 30th anniversary or 35 or it's the 80th anniversary of Batman. Like, ah, okay, what the heck?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Well,
It's a great
something.
movie.
Yeah, something. Especially James Rolfe did a video about why Batman is a Christmas movie. He gave some good pointers about how like Max Shrek is basically Ebenezer Scrooge.
Basically, I mean,
Yeah,
you know, it's funny. Batman Returns, especially, like people like to argue, be like, "That's not a Christmas movie." I'm like,
yeah,
there's a tree lighting. One of the main lines is a reference to Santa Claus.
yeah.
Like, there's snow. There's like, it's all the Christmas hallmarks, basically.
Yeah, and also the Penguin was like the Grinch because he was trying to kidnap all the children of
Yeah,
Gotham
and
City.
even if you want to even take it that far,
Yeah,
but the atmosphere, there's a lot of snow. It's a winter movie, and like I said, great
what do you
movie.
think? What do you think of the movie in general, like as a whole, like as a film itself?
Oh, I love it. I
Me
love it.
too.
It's one of my favorite Batman sequels.
Same. Despite it was not the biggest. Well, it was a hit, but not like what fans or Batman fans expected that to
I
be.
would have loved to see I would love to see an alternate universe where we got a sequel to it.
Yeah, well,
I would have even taken Billy D Williams. I could speak today
you can't say Billy
um,
D.
as
Two
as
Face,
Two
yeah,
Face. I would have
same.
loved to actually
Well,
see that because I
there
like
was
Billy D.
so do I, and there was a comic book that came out not that long ago called Batman '89, where that was the original like concept that Tim Burton had in mind for a third Batman film
Yeah,
before he was booted off the franchise. Then Joel Schumacher took over because what happened was Tim Burton says that he like when he went to Warner Brothers saying, "Okay, here are my ideas for the third film." They're like, "Tim, no, thank you," and they're like, "Don't you want to do smaller films?"
I
And
think in hindsight they made a big mistake.
they
You know,
did, they
I
did.
mean, for Batman Forever, it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me.
I can take it or leave it with
It's
Batman Forever.
yeah,
It's not perfect.
like I don't know what it is about Val Kilmer. I like him. He's
So
no
do
Michael
I.
Keaton. He is
No,
no Michael Keaton, but I
no,
kind of like his Bruce Wayne. He kind of reminds me of the like a live action version of the animated series
I
version
can see that.
of Bruce Wayne. And for all its faults, I think it was okay.
Yeah, I'll admit Batman Forever is not perfect, but I like it because I grew up on that movie, and
Yeah,
let's just say Batman Forever is a little bit more forgiving than Batman and Robin, no comparison, and
yeah,
also
Batman. Well, it's funny. Like even Batman and Robin, I don't like that movie, but it's so quotable. It's so
true.
quotable.
Until the
I
dinosaurs, the Ice Age.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on, you like there is a part of me that that likes that movie.
I
Batman and
guess I
Robin.
could see why.
There is a
Yes.
part of me that likes that
Yeah.
movie
I'm
for
not gonna lie.
as cheesy as it is.
When I was a kid, I liked it, but as I was a kid, I didn't have that.
Yeah, when you're a kid, of course, you'd
Right.
consume anything Batman. I
Right.
had the toys
So
and
did I.
everything. My uncle had the Batman Forever mugs that they used to sell at Burger King.
Right.
The glass, he still has those.
Actually, it was McDonald's, not Burger
Oh,
King.
McDonald's. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I know what you
Not
mean.
Burger
Yeah, I
King.
get. Yeah, I have those too.
But yeah, I mean, and it
Yeah.
makes me think of like, man, remember what they would actually sell like glass mugs,
Yeah.
and fast
Yeah.
food stuff. But I mean that movie for all its flaws too. I still there's a part of me that still kind of enjoys it.
When you watch Batman Forever, like the only that Val Kilmer's the one good highlight is Batman and Bruce Wayne because he's like the only one that takes himself seriously. Where
Yeah,
Jim
and
Carrey and Tommy Lee are
I
like
always
over
liked
the
the
top.
actor that they got to play Alfred too.
What's that?
I always liked the actor that they got to play Alfred in both
Same.
those. I think he was from the Burton.
Yeah, no,
Was
no,
it the
no.
same actor all the
Michael
way
Gough.
through?
Yeah, Michael Gough and Pat Hingle both played Gordon and Alfred in both the Schumacher and Tim Burton universe. Despite it's a different, there's like this debate about whether Batman Forever is a reboot or a sequel because
I think it's kind of a reboot.
I guess I mean I don't know. It's despite they do reference Catwoman a little bit in Batman
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah, and like I said, those movies, for all their faults, it's back when Gotham looked like Gotham.
Yeah, well, I
Still,
will admit I don't like I
Even the Schumacher, I can say Gotham looked like Gotham.
well, I don't know. I think Tim Burton had a better like
Yeah, no, no. Tim Burton
Gotham,
is
whereas
the zeitgeist, is the be all end all in terms of how Gotham
Joel
should
Schumacher's
look.
Joel Schumacher's Gotham looked like laser tag.
A little bit, but it was going for that campiness. But
Yeah,
like I said, and we've talked about this in the Batman review. I still miss when Gotham looked like Gotham. We still
yeah,
have not gotten back to that Burton Gotham yet.
yeah.
We
No,
have not gotten back to or something that resembles the animated series where it's
that's
a
yeah,
city out of time.
yeah, yeah. And also, I think if Schumacher, if it wasn't for the studio, he could have made a dark Batman film because despite
Absolutely.
Batman, despite Batman and Robin like ruined his reputation, but he really was a good filmmaker. He made The Lost Boys, Falling Down, A Time to Kill.
Right.
8mm was really good, but oh my
8
god, it was
millimeter was really good. Falling
oh,
Down
it
was
was
really good too.
what's that?
Falling Down was
Yeah,
really
that
good
was
too.
great.
I
Yeah,
love that movie.
yes, he was a good director. Just Batman and Robin was the one bad film he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
was no Orson
everybody has a
Welles, but
bad film.
he wasn't Orson Welles, but he made some pretty good, solid movies, and had a solid career as a director.
Yeah,
Schumacher.
yeah, exactly. And I would have loved to see a dark, more Burton Batman.
Yeah,
Um, on the subject of Burton, I had just recently finally got around to the newer Beetlejuice movie, the
what'd you
Beetlejuice.
think?
I liked it. It had its flaws.
Okay.
Um, I think Keaton stole the show.
Yes.
Keaton stole the show.
Yes.
Like I said, spoilers. Guys, go see the new.
Spoiler alert.
We're not affiliated. This is not a promotion. We're not telling you to go see it and blah, 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 all that
Well, I'm
promotion.
telling you to go see it because I loved it. I'm sure.
Yeah. But the spoilers ahead. The only bad thing I could say about it is I felt like the underworld, the Beetlejuice underworld, was kind of smaller
Right.
this time. I mean, we did get the train station, that was cool, but it
Yeah.
felt like it was a lot there was a lot less life.
Right.
Excuse the pun, but in comparison to the original Underworld, where it was just out there and colorful, and everywhere you looked there was something going on,
Right.
it felt a little empty. And the lead was it Jenna Ortega?
Jenna Ortega. Yes.
I couldn't get behind her. There's nothing
Really.
against her. I don't know if it was the script. I don't know.
No, I thought she did a good
She was
job.
kind of just
Like,
there for me. For me,
Well, obviously, like the whole point was how Lydia basically neglected her daughter, and that the whole point was that it
right?
wasn't about
I
Lydia.
got that, but in
It
terms
wasn't
of
about
like,
Lydia trying to find like a new husband. It was about just her trying to like be a better mother, reconnect with her daughter.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and I think as a whole, I think it was pretty good.
right.
But
Well, you know me. As I mentioned
oh yeah,
previous. Oh,
no,
I
and
loved it. I was
I've been on a Burton kick as of late too.
right,
Just
right.
revisiting a lot of his old work, like
Same, same.
Vincent and the original Frank and Weenie from the '80s, Frank
Yeah,
and Weenie.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Beetle
don't
to
know.
me.
I even watched Ed Wood
Oh,
for
I
the
love
first
Ed Wood.
time.
Oh,
Yeah,
you saw it for the first time?
I saw it for the first
Oh
time.
my god, you
Yes.
never saw it before, but yet you knew about Ed Wood though in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely. No, I knew about Ed Wood, the one of the worst directors of all time. Yes,
Oh, I did not know that you did not see it before. Wow, how did I not know that? What
it
did you
was
think of
one
Ed
of the
Wood?
movies that I had to cross off my list, and it just
Right,
was like, all right, I got to sit down, I got to watch this. And again, it makes me miss black and white.
right.
I'm a big now. I do think color has its purpose,
Yeah.
depending on the type of movie and how you're going to use it. But I do miss that style, that specific stylized black and white. I know certain movies have been kind of doing it, but I don't know if it's down to the newer technology. It never
Well, you know what it
quite
is.
looks
Modern
right.
part of it is modern audiences have a hard time like gravitating towards black and white movies. That's what it is.
That might be. I don't know. I
Part
refuse
of
to
it.
kind
I
of
mean,
be.
there's probably other reasons, but that's just one thing you can
Yeah,
think
I
of
refuse to
why.
kind of be a snob and say like the entire audience. I think there are some people coming
I
around
know
on
there
that.
are. That's like I love black and white movies, and like we're talking about Ed Wood. I first saw that as a teenager when I was like in this big like Tim Burton phase, like wanted to learn about like his inspirations or how
Right.
or
Right.
how like like what made him that he is today with his filmmaking and why he does all these like unique movies. Well, Ed Wood is more of a biography. It'll just show that Tim Burton not only did he do weird stuff, he made a biography film about someone that he admired, and also as a kid growing up watching the Universal monsters, being a fan of Karloff, Lugosi, Lon Chaney, that was the first time I learned about Lugosi's drug addiction problem. Like, oh my god, how did I not know that about
Yeah,
Lugosi?
and I've always wanted to know how much of that was actually true.
Oh no, it was true. He really, because of being typecast as Dracula, he couldn't get work, and he was having drug addiction probably. Yet, I watched an interview with his son, Bela Lugosi Jr. He said that he was not really, he didn't like Ed Wood because he felt like Ed Wood took advantage of him. Despite yes, he was employed by him, but he just felt like Ed Wood was the kind of guy that took advantage of people rather than really
Sad.
like,
Sad.
yeah.
It,
I can see Lugosi Jr. because he said as a kid growing up money was an issue. That's why he became a lawyer, not an actor, because Lugosi's son had a great career as a lawyer.
that makes sense.
It
That makes
does.
sense.
I can respect Lugosi Jr.'s opinion about Ed Wood for that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
On the subject, I have to touch upon just Vampira as a whole.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary on her, and I've been paying attention to her interviews. I know how important she is to being one of the first horror hosts, but as a human being, she seems like one of the most and pardon me if there are any Vampira fans out there. Listen, you can love her all she wants, but this is my opinion. She seems like the most entitled person I've ever come across. She
Yeah.
seems like she constantly grasps at any kind of spotlight. She even had somewhat of a feud between her and Elvira. Um,
Yeah.
for
Because Elvira
and
was
I know
inspired from her.
she had tried to actually blackmail Elvira with like nude pictures of Elvira when she was young, and
That's
just
weird.
because she felt like even though Elvira wanted her on the Elvira show as a grandmother to quote unquote pass the torch, and how even though was it what's her name, Nermi,
Oh, I know you're talking. Wait. Let me check.
We're talking about the actress
Yes,
that
the
played
actress who
Vampire.
played
But
Vampire.
Nurmi was brought on
Yes, her
as
name
like a
was
grandmother character to
Nurmi.
Elvira,
Yeah,
and she felt personally like they stole the character and they stole everything, and I see the Elvira character as more of an homage. It's different
yeah,
enough. She's more of a valley girl than a spooky, kind of girl. And yes, the dress is similar, but they had their own spin on it.
yeah,
And I just I just felt like, why would you, I get protecting your IP and your property and all that, but
yeah.
to quote unquote try to destroy somebody else's career, Cassandra Peterson, we're talking about the actress that played Elvira,
Right,
for Nurmi to quote unquote try to destroy her career, um, just out of jealousy and out of spite,
right,
rather than passing the torch, is just
right.
unforgivable. And
It
like I
sounds
said, she seems so just. She believes in her own hype. And I remember there was an interview when she was talking about Ed Wood,
right.
and she
It's
referred to him as a sad little man.
right.
Um, and unfortunately, the story of Ed Wood has a very sad ending where
It does.
Ed Wood lost all his money, and he was basically doing quote unquote adult films, pornography, to
Yes.
just try and get anything.
Right.
And just Nermi's reaction to that, to not even have any kind of sympathy, is just, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's my opinion on Vampira.
Yeah.
Um,
Even though I don't know much about her, like you just pointed out, for what I heard, like Lisa Marie, who played her in the movie Ed Wood, said she met her a few times. Like in preparation, she said she was a little bit of a odd and weird person to be around when she was
she's
trying to.
very much stuck in that era of I'm still the star. Look at me,
Right.
and it's just I get wanting to stay relevant through the years, but there's a way to do that, to both respect your fans and especially respect your quote unquote, whether it's intentional or not, your quote unquote heir, your next, your successor, your
Right.
you know we all have our time in the sun
Yeah.
as creators. Like I said, when we do this podcast, our intention is to entertain you guys.
Yeah. And pass the
um,
torch someday.
Yeah, pass the torch to maybe somebody that's watching and feeling down,
Yeah.
and just, maybe saying like, these
like
guys that really,
like
make my day
like
better because
like
they're just themselves. Same
like
thing, I can say for when I do my Twitch stream, when I
right.
talk about video games, I try and have that space where, it's just some guy to hang out with and have fun. And I try never to lose sight of really, I don't want to say my goal, but we never want to be disingenuous to you guys,
Yeah. Same.
to you people watching, because like you, we grew up, watching the people we watch, and being entertained by the people we watch, and you know, I hope someday that somebody will be inspired to make something like we're doing, or something else. Maybe they're inspired to write stories, whatever.
Right.
Because
Do what makes you happy.
that in my eyes, to be kind of philosophical with you guys,
Right.
that's a victory for me. If I can
Yeah.
inspire somebody to do good things and to follow their dreams and to give people hope,
Right.
whether I'm doing a video game stream or the podcast or whatever, that's really what I want.
Right. Same. Well, I'm not much of a video gamer, but still, I get the point though. Out of
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and I think that's what Nermi lost sight of, is the importance of having fans and having dignity and humility.
Yeah.
If you step back from yourself, and even if you quote unquote made it big, or made it big at one point, and say, listen, I'm here because of my fans,
Right.
because of and I'm inspiring people to do, that's what I mean. If I was in her shoes, I'd be like, absolutely, pass this torch to this young girl,
Right. Well,
and maybe be
that's
a
like a
part of that rather
that,
than shun that.
that's like how similar Harlan Ellison was the same way. I mean, yeah, great talented writer, but he was so like thinking that everyone was like like everything that people inspired from his work was plagiarism. But
I mean, there's a certain point. There are examples of that, but like I said, it's down to a person's character, and it's just you
yeah,
have to have that genuineness to
yeah,
your fans.
humbleness.
Humbleness. No, not just humble, but just be genuine. Just be yourself.
True, I believe in that
And
too.
I never
I do believe in
understood
that.
people's egos. You
Right.
know.
Well, some people have egos. That's all you can do is just say to yourself, "Well, thank God that's not me." And
Yeah,
also,
yeah, and like I said, if anybody watching this is just kind of going through it and struggling a bit, my advice to you
don't
watching:
give up.
never give up on your dreams ever.
Right.
No matter how old you are or whatever.
Right. Hey, the current.
Christopher
It's
Lee, for an example, just because 80 years old, he went and made a heavy metal album, right?
right. Right.
So don't let
Or
age
even
be a thing
and
of,
even
of
well, this is not related, but the KFC guy, the Colonel, he became a millionaire at 65. So there you go.
right.
Yeah,
And
different
like I
story,
said,
but still.
that might not be your path, or what you're thinking might not be your path, but
Right.
you'll find what you're looking for. But you
Right.
cannot give up on
I
yourself.
was I was listening to a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, aka Lex Luthor from Smallville. He was saying similar things like you, even if like you're someone who's just like, working a regular job, which is great and stuff, but it's like don't be afraid to
Yeah,
have a
I work
side
a I
hustle.
work a day job.
Yeah, don't be afraid to have a side hustle where it's like, okay, I did this on the side, even though I'm not like winning an Oscar, but still it
Yeah,
just shows that I
there's
did it.
there's no shame. Everybody starts from somewhere, and
Yeah.
and I
Like
can say, with a person with a physical disability, I have cerebral palsy.
right. I
I
have
don't let
autosomal
that
crossing
hold me
disorder.
back. I mean, guys, I don't know if you could tell about my hands. My hands are a little. I don't know if you could see. They're a
It's
little
not
messed up, but
noticeable. No, it's
but
not
don't let it hold
noticeable.
you back.
Right.
Don't let anything hold you back.
Right.
Keep,
Like
if you're doing a podcast and or whatever, writing, and you're just like, you're not feeling it today, don't let that hold you back.
right.
Keep
Yeah.
on going, because you never know.
Like
You
how
never
with
know.
me with
Life will throw you.
yeah. Like how me with my YouTube, nothing's perfect, but I still do it anyway. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
satisfy anyone other than myself
yeah.
because
Same thing with my
I made
Twitch. Same
I
thing
made
with my
this YouTube
Twitch.
video. Yeah.
I stream video games because I love doing it, and I know I haven't right now have the biggest audience, but the few people that do tune in and do talk to me, I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
Um,
Like anything, I've had some positive experiences and some interesting, where it's like, yeah, people can be nice, some people can be mean, but it's like, I don't
we
need
all
this
have our
drama.
struggles, man. Everybody has haters, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
But don't let those haters, get you down or try and ruin your life. Make sure
Right.
you fight back, because it's a
Right.
big world, and
Well,
the internet, as a whole.
as I told somebody recently, I use humor. I humor it back. Like someone said, "You trying to sound like Christopher Walken?" I gotta have more cowbell.
Exactly, exactly. You make it,
That
you
was my
make it
response.
into a
I gotta
joke,
have
and
more
you make it into
cowbell.
content.
Yeah, comedy.
Yep,
When I
comedy. Yes.
when I met Sam Raimi, I'm thinking this guy was not a director. He could have been a stand-up comic, and I'm not joking because he was so funny.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing that kind of separates. People forget about famous people, is they were people too. They're people
Right. Well,
too, just
they
like
still
us.
are people. It just shows how like some celebrities are not like all alike. You have the night like even like some coming from me. I met some nice celebrities and some like I was like I wasn't getting the best vibe. Like here's some examples: Sam Raimi, Melissa Barrera, and the actor who played Pinhead. Very very nice people. And Tony Todd, cool chill people to hang around and talk to for 5 minutes and
I'm
get an
sure.
autograph and a picture with. Whereas when I met Sybil Shepherd from Taxi Driver, I wasn't. I mean, I I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything that offended her. She was giving me that vibe, like, yeah, I don't want to be here. It's like, then why are you here? I didn't say that. I'm thinking, why are you here?
Again, that falls into, never forget, who gives you the quote unquote lifeblood. It's your fans. It's
Right.
the people that watch you. It's people, people like you guys watching this podcast, or maybe you stumbled upon this podcast. It's because people like you guys that one of the reasons why we do this. You know, even if we quote unquote make it big someday, I never want to forget each and every one of you guys that tuned in
Yeah,
to us
same.
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I said, that time when I met Melissa Barrera, she was so like nice and generous and kind of for she really like enjoyed her fans, like talking, engaging,
right?
and hey, I got a hug.
You got a hug.
I hate goodbyes.
Hey, guys, and you were there, and you were there. We're going into a Wizard of
my
Oz rabbit hole here.
my dad had no idea who she was, but she was still very kind to give my dad a hug for the nice and generosity that
Yeah,
I came I came
it's the
along for the convention.
little things. It's the
Yeah.
give back to the fans that make things worthwhile.
And on my own personal, I mean, don't get me wrong, I met other nice, good, famous horror icons, but so far she's my favorite I've met
Yeah,
for a good reason.
exactly.
Yeah. And I recently saw her movie, Your Monster. It was basically like coming from someone who's not much of a rom com person, but I actually enjoyed this movie because it wasn't like a stupid, cliched fluff like
I'll
rom
check it
com.
out. I'll check it out. That's
It
like
was
a
it was
Beauty and the
definitely
Beast
maybe
type
not.
thing.
What's that?
It's like a Beauty and the Beast type
Yeah,
thing.
Beauty and the Beast, and not besides that, about a woman who just like survived cancer, and her boyfriend broke up with her. She's vulnerable, sad, depressed, and then this beast in her closet like gets her like inner rage out, like trying to get out of her comfort zone and trying to like make a comeback, and don't let
Ah,
this
cool
breakup.
concept.
What's that?
Very cool concept.
No,
Very
no,
cool
it
concept.
was. That was the funny part. Like, yeah, very relatable, but mine is a beast in my closet. That's the difference. Let's face it, we've
Yeah.
all been here before where we dated someone, they broke our hearts, and we were at our worst vulnerable position, but then we found a way to like rehabilitate ourselves in a different way.
Yeah. It's a good life lesson, honestly.
Yeah, because and that, like I said, and Melissa Barrera, very talented. She's a good actress, and she can sing very well too.
Duly noted.
Yeah, that's because I've been listening to a lot of her songs. I'm like, oh wow, she's excellent. And
Yeah.
my mom
Did
joked,
you know a little fun fact for all you craft people out there, those who like the craft and are familiar with Farousa Blanc? Am I pronouncing her name correctly?
I don't think I know who that is, but who is that?
That's the goth chick from the movie The Craft.
Oh yes, the movie The Craft. Yes,
I
I
had
know.
no idea she was a musician.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I had no idea. Apparently, her IMDb says musician. I have not heard a single note of her music,
Right.
but I might have to
I
check that
was
out.
I was surprised with Melissa Barrera, but most of these songs are mostly when because before she was known in America as a Hollywood actress, she was known in Mexico at the time. And most of her songs are Spanish music, but still they're very good though. I
Yeah,
just wish I knew what the lyrics were, but I still enjoy listening to
yeah.
her
You need some
Spanish
of
music.
that. What you call like a well, not Google Translate, but like Spanish to English kind of thing. I
Yeah,
can't. I
I,
can't. I don't remember the quote unquote. There was a thing back in the day where you pop a tape in and they give you the Spanish version of an English word. I forget.
right. And the funny part is your monster did have like singing, but it wasn't a musical though. Even though it had like the element of a musical, but still not a
Right,
musical.
right.
Yeah, because she sings two songs in the movie, Melissa Barrera. I'm like, damn.
Very interesting. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'll have to check it out for
yeah,
sure.
and also there was this movie I saw with. It was a recent film that's being run out for an Academy Award called Anora, but not a horror film. But basically, the story is about this sex worker, typical woman who works at a strip club, obviously, and she wants the good life, and she thinks that she
Right.
has her ticket way out of there when she meets this Russian guy who wants to marry her so she can still, obviously stay in the country. But there is a scene. It's not like a dark where it's like anything bad, but it's just he's not what he is. But I don't want to give spoiler way the back.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. It's called
Yeah,
Nora?
Anora, Anora.
Nora. Okay.
Yeah, Anora.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Basically, it's actually a Russian name. I don't know what it means exactly, but in the movie, she goes by Annie, but her name is Honora. That's her Russian name, and throughout it's one of those things where no explanation, but you can like interpret in your own way about how you view this character. Like, is she not close because we don't see her family? Wait, was she not close to her family? Did she have a bad upbringing and that kind of stuff? And
Interesting. I'll check it out for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, and also the guy she marries, again, I'm not going to be like, he was, it's not that he wasn't abusive, he was just a jerk in general, like, a rich,
Right.
stereotypical rich, cocky, asshole is what he
Right.
was.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, he was the kind of guy, like, yeah, I want to smack this guy in the face, but you'll see, though, and why.
Yeah, I'll check it out
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
All right. Is there anything
And
else?
also on the top, I met the actress because she was in Scream, but honestly, again, not the best vibe around her. She was not like Melissa Barrera, where she was so engaged. It was just like,
Right.
hi, nice to meet you,
Exactly.
and that's it. She wasn't like engaged with the fans like Melissa was, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
Not everybody can be kind to their fans,
No,
and
no,
I
no.
think that's very
I'll always have
important
Melissa.
to be kind to your fans. But yeah, it is what it is. People can be jerks.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Let's talk. I guess I wanted to briefly touch upon about how, like, even though in general I love comic books, but I feel like the MCU movie needs to end, or they need to take a break.
Absolutely. Well, that's how I feel. I feel like it's on its way out, like a lot of
Yeah. Again,
other trends.
I do enjoy comic books. Just in movies, it depends. Like there are good comic book movies, but it's just gotten
Yeah.
oversaturated.
Yeah, well, it's like anything. Westerns used to be a big thing,
Right.
and that kind of went the way of the dodo.
Right.
I feel like superhero movies are kind of on their way out. They've been on their way out, and I think I said this before, but I really think video game movies are going to be the next big
Yeah.
thing.
Like I do enjoy like let's see. Oh yeah, there's this new Superman movie come out where it's not like gonna be a cine. I think what they should do is stop the cinematic universe. Just make the movie its own thing. Just focus on
Right, make it
Batman.
its own thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's
That
it.
makes-
That's what made like the original Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. They just focused on Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. That's it. There was
Yeah,
no
they
like,
weren't focused on the multiverse or anything like that.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No more multiverse for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you want to touch upon, or
No, I think I just covered everything. I got whatever I got today. It's out of my system.
Alrighty. Well, with that said, I've been Wolfman Sam, here with my partner Johnny Buff Guns, and we are Creatures of the
Creatures
Night.
of the Night. See you next time.
See you next time.